Where I was before Victory Mission was just lost completely. I was IV using meth, cooking meth, robbing people. I grew up knowing violence, so violence was always kind of an anchor for me.
Turned to the alcohol and the drugs just to just cope with the pain of mom and dad and losing my family. But it just progressed and progressed. I ended up in jail and spent a couple of years in and out of jail.
Life before Victory Mission, it was pretty chaotic. Didn't really have a sense of direction whatsoever. We just lived every day just trying to find some sort of peace in all the chaos, and searched for it in drugs and alcohol, women, just in the streets, this street life that had nothing for me really. Just misery and heartache and hopelessness.
Before I came here, I was put in the hospital probably 7 times. The thing that got me in the hospital was alcohol. I was drinking a half a gallon a day. Last time I went to the hospital, I was in ICU for 6 weeks. Didn't know nothing about it.
Started smoking pot again and cheating on my wife really bad, and we soon split up after I had my first son, and I just got really depressed, a lot of anxiety, and didn't know how to handle things, and everything just kind of fell apart.
Got divorced, started bouncing strip clubs and that kind of stuff, got to selling drugs, got to doing more than I was selling, and things just kind of went downhill from there.
Running on the streets, just abusing drugs heavily and just abusing the relationships with the people that cared about me.
I basically grew up in the slums. It was ghetto. You know, Kentucky's a poor state, so pretty much grew up on the streets. You know, I was pretty much taught to be a criminal from a young age, and I started to commit crimes and I started to get into drugs. I found myself kind of snowballing with felonies.
I had a reality check at one point. I was like, I'm taking advantage of my family, you know, manipulating them. They're sending me money, and so I can get high. And if I get back out on the streets in the end of this 4 months, with still doing the same thing, then this is going to be a revolving door. You know, it's going to be horrible.
Caught my first felony in 2005, or possession. Worked off 5 years of paper on that, and then got picked up in 2016 on a warrant for selling to an undercover. I had like a month left, month and a half, so I was a little nervous about it. I mean, I had to find some place to go. I was familiar with Victory Mission. I'd stayed there once before, and I knew Brian spent time up here, so it seemed like a good fit.
First time I met Mark was probably the second day I was in Victory Mission. First thing he told me was put me on 30 days detox because I was shaking so bad I couldn't even hold a pencil. Struggling real bad.
I didn't know what to do. I knew that God was real, and I knew the spiritual realm was real, and I knew they were fighting for me, fighting for everybody, really.
I knew that I needed something, but I didn't know exactly what yet. And so I got into the program, and things were pretty rough. My health was not good. My body was just giving out from living like heck all those years.
Finally, I hit a point where I went out to the prayer garden, and I just cried out to God with everything I had in me, everything. And I said, God, and I read Psalms 23 out loud, and I said, God, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what is real, what is not real. I don't know the thoughts I'm having, the anxiety, the depression, the fear, but can you please take it all away, God? And just like that, I felt the presence of God.
You know, just opened my heart up. You know, I had closed it off and put walls up, and slowly but surely the Lord's breaking them chains and knocking down them walls and softening my heart.
Victory Mission was a good fit for me because it was structured. It helped me get back to my faith, which I've lost a long time ago.
Me in the program was all the staff and all my brothers that was in restoration to help me through it. It was real hard. For 3 months it was really rough, but I came around.
I got into this program the next day, and that's when my life began to really really changed. Victory Mission have so many resources that it just blowed my mind.
But when I came to Victory Mission Restoration, it was almost like something said, stop. Everything you know is wrong. This is the right way. And so he had my attention.
Like, hey, you can't live like this, and you need to stop other people from living like this.
So since I've been in Victory Mission, God's totally changed my heart, like 100%. Like I get frustrated still, but I'm not an angry person. I used to be angry, mad at the world, feel like the world owed me something. Now I feel like I owe the world something,
And by that simple obedience, so much has taken place since then. So many great things, and they showed me how to have a relationship with God, and they showed me the love that I wasn't really shown a lot as a child, in a different way, the love of Christ, and it just embraces you, and
it was so real, and he took that all away, and it was like the longest work week of your whole entire life, and you're so worn out, and your bones hurt, and your muscles hurt, and you're exhausted, and then you finally get to a bed that's like the most comfortable bed in the world, and that's what it felt like for me, is I finally just found comfort and peace and joy, and I think that was the moment of my salvation.
God's just given me a heart for people, hope, and a direction. Like my expectations of place were to get a job and some money saved up and be able to move out into my own house, and then eventually, but he's done so much more than just that. All my relationships are restored.
And no matter what I'm going through, the consequences that I face now, I know the Lord's with me. He gives me strength to get through all those things. I don't have to worry about what's going to happen, because He's proved to me that He's got me. He's going to prosper me. Just as long as I keep Him in my life and I put Him first, He's going to make sure I don't go back to them old ways. So in Victory Mission, I found hope, I found joy, things that I didn't have before. The devil had stripped all that from me before. He had me right where he wanted me, but through Victory Mission, I found hope and joy and a relationship with God.
Been a victorious run for me, and it's still not over. It's just beginning.